In today's video, I'm going to rate for you guys different drugs that I've been addicted to in a series of different categories. So the first drug I want to talk about is going to be nicotine. Now I'm going to rate this on a scale of 1 to 10 for a series of different categories. Category number 1 being usefulness. Nicotine on a scale of 1 to 10 as far as being useful, I'm going to give a rating of 0. I'm going to go 0. And I want you guys to comment below your rating scores on a scale of 1 to 10 while we do this video. Nicotine is truly just a stupid drug. The buzz is maybe a 2 out of 10. It doesn't really give you a big buzz. You literally just get addicted to it. You waste your money on it. It gets you sick. You think that it's helping your stress, but really you're just getting more stressed because your body's going into nicotine withdrawal every 30 minutes. Nicotine is literally, I think, a useless drug. Now, I do want to pause. I understand that it is like a neurostimulant, that it may have neuroregeneration potential. I understand that. I'm not talking about nicotine as a medication. I'm talking about getting addicted to nicotine in cigarettes, vapes, chewing tobacco, which I was the most addicted to. Very hard for me to quit that one. Addiction potential, 10 out of 10. I think nicotine's a 10 out of 10 when it comes to addiction potential. Very easy to get addicted. Very, very easy to say I'm only going to do this a few times. 10 out of 10. Withdrawals, not that bad with nicotine. I mean, I guess like my worst withdrawals always came from the chewing tobacco withdrawals. Vaping was, I guess, a little rough, but that passed pretty quickly for me. I'm going to go withdrawals 3 out of 10. I'm going to go 3 out of 10. Pretty minimal on withdrawals. Like nicotine withdrawals can't kill you. The cravings maybe like an 8 out of 10 when I was first quitting, and I guess that's a withdrawal symptom. But overall threateningness of nicotine withdrawal wasn't a horrible experience for me. 3, maybe 4 out of 10. It's all mindset. It was all mindset. Once I realized that, quitting became much easier. Regrets. I 10 out of 10 regret using nicotine. I wish I never would have picked it up. There is really no good experience in life that nicotine gave me. 10 out of 10 on regrets. Harmfulness, it depends on what you're doing. If you're smoking cigarettes, 10 out of 10. If you're chewing tobacco, maybe that's like a 6 out of 10. If you're vaping, maybe that's a 6 out of 10 too. If you're just chewing Nicorette gum and you're addicted to that, well, maybe it's pretty low on the harmfulness scale. So I can't really rate that one. To me, it wound up being pretty harmful, though. Osteoporosis, blood pressure problems, tooth problems. It wound up being pretty harmful. Weed. Weed was another one that I really struggled with. And there's 2 categories of weed. There's dry herb, and then there's the black market carts and the carts. I really want to separate those 2 things because I think they're separate. Usefulness. Weed, I think it depends on your situation. For me, I'm going to go like maybe a 4 or 5 out of 10. Maybe something like that. There truly was, and I've talked about this in other videos, a point in my life where recreationally, and maybe that's even closer to a 7 out of 10, I had a really good time with weed. I felt there was a point in my life where it helped with my sleep, where it helped with the anxiety, where it helped with the depression. This was probably somewhere around the age of 24, 25, where I was maybe like 20, 23, 24. So usefulness, I get it. And some people have chronic pain. Some people have other autoimmune diseases, and they might find weed really useful. So weed can be useful. Addiction potential. I think in many cases it's very low. I'm going to go really low. I'm going to go like a 2 out of 10. Now, that's especially if you're smoking dry herb and you got to go through the process of smoking it, right? You got to grind it, put it in a volcano unit. Maybe you're doing a one-hitter. There's a ritual involved. You couldn't always smoke it, right? It wasn't legal. It was kind of hard to do all the time if you were someone who tried to do it all the time. So I think addiction potential, and according to literature, addiction potential on weed is low. Now, when the carts came into the picture for me, though, I'm going to go, it's up there, 8 out of 10. I'm going to go an 8 out of 10. Like, I was addicted to carts. They were easy to rip. I craved them. Like, there was something else in them. Both medical. I did medical and black market. I was using both. Let's be clear. Let's be honest about this. But yeah, I'm going to go an 8 out of 10 when the carts hit the picture. And then when I quit the carts, I had trouble even coming off of the dry herb because I was like, okay, I'll quit carts and I'll just smoke dry herb. But I couldn't then quit that. Like, I was always smoking something. So it escalated. Weed escalated for me. Withdrawals, really not bad when it was dry herb. I don't ever really think I had withdrawals, right? Like, I'd smoke on the weekends initially and maybe even 3-4 nights a week. And I never really had issues. I generally speaking felt pretty good. It wasn't until I got into the carts and smoking daily that I started to get withdrawals. And quitting carts, I'm going withdrawals as a very rapid, 7 out of 10. Like, my withdrawals from carts sucked. Like, I was manic. I had psychosis. I had insomnia for 3 days straight where I didn't sleep. My bones hurt. My muscles hurt. I had symptoms of CHS. I was nauseous all the time. I couldn't eat. I mean, maybe that's a little high, but again, keep in mind, some of them were black market products. So I'm going 7 out of 10, and I'm going to throw this out there too. We have a lot of people who call our offices on just dry herb, who I would put at a 7 out of 10 when it comes to weed withdrawals. Like, they are very uncomfortable. Like, they are struggling sometimes. And then you got other people where it's no big deal. It's nothing. Regrets only occurred towards the end of my journey with weed. It's not all regret, maybe 50% of my journey. I'm going to go a 5 out of 10. I did have fun. There were some times where I had some fun. I had some laughs. I'm not going to lie. Okay, harmfulness. I think the carts were really harmful. So keeping that in mind, and mind you guys, there was a point where I was smoking carts where I thought I had pneumonia, and I got an x-ray and they were like, it looks like pneumonia, but we don't really know. We'll give you an antibiotic. They gave me one. It didn't help. I'm starting to wonder if I was potentially starting to develop symptoms that people were getting with like the black market carts, that EVALI lung injury. I'm starting to wonder if I was maybe on my way to that. I quit shortly after that incident, but I'm wondering, so harmfulness, if you're using carts, and if you're heavily addicted to weed, I think weed can be extremely harmful, especially if we're talking about Cannabinoid Hyperemesis Syndrome. So I'm going to go pretty high on this. I'm going to go 7 out of 10. If you have CHS, I'm going to push that to like an 8 or a 9 out of 10. Because that can straight up kill you if you have Cannabinoid Hyperemesis Syndrome. So I'm going to go pretty high. If you're stuck in serious weed addiction, not weed in general, serious weed addiction, I'm going high. And I'm going to add to that. If you're dabbling in other gray market or other black market products like unregulated Delta 8, unregulated Delta 10, THCO, if you're using unreputable brands, I think the harmfulness is extremely high. The buzz. I always liked the weed buzz. Like, I did. I liked it. It was cool when it was cool. It was cool. And I'm not talking about all the stuff I talk about in my other videos, how the buzz is the worst part, because that really is the worst part. I'm being blunt in this video. I'm gonna go the buzz for me. You're watching a good movie. You're laughing with your friends. I'd probably put that a 9 out of 10. Like, geez, maybe a 10 out of 10. I don't know. That was one of my favorite buzzes. Okay, that's weed. Alcohol. Never was addicted to this. Definitely binge drank too much, though. Alcohol, as far as usefulness goes, I'm going 0 out of 10. I'm rating alcohol lower than nicotine. A 0 out of 10. Alcohol is ethanol. It's straight gasoline. It's straight up poison for your body. There is no place for alcohol in our systems. 0 out of 10. 0 out of 10 for usefulness. Addiction potential, high. It's very high. Alcoholism is a huge problem. 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10. I think it's very easy to get addicted to alcohol, partially because alcohol withdrawal is so bad. 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, people can die from alcohol withdrawal. We're going 10 out of 10 if you're truly going through heavy alcohol withdrawal. I'm going 10 out of 10. It's bad. It can be really bad. Not for everyone, but it can be. And that's what makes it so addictive, right? People don't want to experience the withdrawal symptoms, so they use again, which feeds the addiction even more. Regrets. I have lots of things I regret when I was drinking. 7 out of 10. I had some fun, so maybe I should back that down to a 6 out of 10. Like, don't get me wrong. There were times where I had fun with alcohol, but then again, was it the alcohol or was it just the environment of being with my friends doing fun stuff? Like, of course it was fun being out, talking to girls and this and that. I didn't need alcohol to do that. And of course I was having fun with my friends. Alcohol just happened to be there. I'm gonna regret a lot of things on alcohol. I'm gonna go 6 or 7 out of 10. Harmfulness, 10 out of 10. One of the most toxic things out there, 10 out of 10. It's straight ethanol. I don't give a crap if it's wine, some high-end liquor. It's ethanol. It's gasoline. It rots your body. Buzz, of course, it gives you a good buzz. 6, 7 out of 10, okay? It can give you a hell of a buzz, but that buzz can become deadly. That buzz can, alcohol poisoning, that's your brain and your body shutting down. What about pornography as a drug? What do we do with this one? Usefulness. Well, does release a lot of dopamine, does release a lot of serotonin, right? Maybe someone is watching porn and they're learning, some stuff about intercourse. As bad as that would be, it could be true, right? Usefulness. Is there any use for porn? Is there any use? I don't know clinically if there'd be any use for pornography. Maybe for someone who's cranking it into like a cup to make semen to donate, maybe. I'm going to go like a 1 out of 10 just because I don't know, but really it's probably a 0 out of 10. Like, porn is pretty disgusting. Addiction potential, 10 out of 10. And I'm going to say 10 out of 10 because it hijacks that part of our brain that enjoys joy and pleasure, like, to an extreme. It really messes with dopamine, and it's really easy to access. The ease of access to porn and the chances of relapse, I think, are so high. Like, this is one I constantly have to be on guard with because there's constantly triggers out there, right? This video probably isn't very triggering, but I can't imagine this is turning anyone on right now. Maybe it is, but there's constant triggers. Withdrawals, they're up there. 6, 7, 8 out of 10, they're high. The withdrawals are high, 7 out of 10. Insomnia, sweating, flu-like symptoms, they're high. Regrets, 10 out of 10. Never once did I watch porn and say, wow, I felt good about that. 10 out of 10 in regrets. Harmfulness, got to go minimum of a 5 out of 10. I'm going to go 6 out of 10. It's responsible for a lot of divorce. It's responsible for a lot of depression, a lot of social anxiety. I'm going to go higher. I'm changing it. I'm going 9 out of 10, maybe a 10 out of 10. If we include what's happening to the people who are partaking in porn, there some of the underage stuff that occurs, some of the sex trafficking links that it's been tied to. And guys, you can't deny it. Freaking, what was it? Visa and Chase and Pornhub and that huge lawsuit because of it. Like, that's public knowledge. That's not speculation. Harmfulness, if we can include the harm, not only to the viewer, but the potential harm to the people in the industry, I'm going 10 out of 10, especially because substance abuse is so high in the it's so high in the pornography industry. 10 out of 10 on harmfulness. Buzz, it's high. Porn makes people, when you're watching it, it makes people feel good. Probably an 8 to a 9 out of 10 as far as buzz goes. Because if you're going to a point of ejaculation, it's up there. It's up there, that feeling. Adderall was another thing I had a bout with. I don't talk about this a lot with people. I wasn't addicted to it, but I did take too much of it. There was one time I thought I had regular Adderall, and it was extended release, 30 milligrams, and I took 3 in one day, on top of energy drinks and 5-hour energies and all the other stuff. I was studying for an exam. I thought I was going to the hospital. Like, I thought I was going to die. My feet went numb. My head went numb. My hands went numb. I thought my feet were numb for months after this incident. I literally thought I was going to die. I think that was the first damage, like real damage done to my nervous system. Usefulness, probably pretty high. Probably like a 8 out of 10 for people with ADHD, maybe a 10 out of 10. I did feel very smart with that. It did boost my grades for a period of time, not going to lie. Addiction potential, it's amphetamine-based ones, probably very high. I didn't get addicted to it. I did not like Adderall. I didn't like being up like that. I didn't like it. That's probably why I've never done other drugs like ecstasy or cocaine or things like that. Like I didn't like that high feeling. I liked like weed and alcohol and, the nicotine mixture. I couldn't imagine wanting more than that combination. Like I wouldn't want to feel more out of my mind than that. So anyways, whatever. Withdrawals, I don't know. I never went through withdrawal. I just had like acute damage caused to my system. So I don't know. Regrets, for me personally, it did help me get through some classes probably, but I'm going to go 7 out of 10 for me because of that acute incident. Like I think I caused permanent damage somewhere in my body. Harmfulness, I think it's harmful. I think this can be pretty harmful stuff, guys. Talk to your doctor. I don't know the answer to it. But I'm going to guess that this stuff is pretty harmful in the big picture of harm. Buzz, I didn't like the buzz, so I'm going low. I'm going like a 4 out of 10. It was not an enjoyable feeling for me. Adderall was not an enjoyable feeling. A lot of people are mixing Adderall and alcohol. Now we're screwing things up. Now we're messing up the numbers that I just gave everyone. Last one, energy drinks, usefulness. I could see how they're useful short term, giving people energy, maybe a 6 out of 10, but they're going to give you a terrible crash. And eventually you're going to ramp up your cortisol levels and you're going to burn out your adrenals. So long term, they kind of work against you. So I don't know. I don't know how useful I'd consider energy drinks. Addiction potential, I think it's extremely high. Caffeine is extremely addicting. The taste, the flavors, if you're having ones with sugar or sugar-free, the hyper sweet taste, very, very, very addicting in my opinion. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Because you got flavor addiction, you got caffeine addiction, you got other stimulant addiction going on in there. High. I'm going high. The marketing behind them, I'm going high addiction potential. High addiction potential. Regrets, high for me. 7 out of 10. Wish I never touched them. 8 out of 10. Wished I never touched them. I think they caused a lot of damage to my nervous system combined with all the other crap I did. Wish I never touched it. Really didn't enhance any quality in my life. Really didn't do anything for me. A lot of regret there. I mean, there was a point where I thought it was cool being the guy that was known for Monster, but harmfulness, I don't know, 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. I don't actually know. I think they're pretty harmful. I don't know, though. I can't give an honest opinion on that. Time will tell. You got the artificial sweeteners. You got all the caffeine. I mean, the stuff is pretty acidic. I'm sure it's high. People will probably get some weird cancer from it or something that it will be linked to at some point. Who knows? Maybe some weird autoimmune disease or gut disease. The buzz, I did get a buzz off of energy drinks. 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. Maybe that's where I kind of say like some usefulness was there. And maybe that's where I say like maybe it wasn't all regret because there was that using it as a pre-workout. I see the advantage to that. I see the value in that. So, you get that buzz from the energy drink or the pre-workout and go to the gym. I get it. But again, if you're mixing like Red Bull and vodka, Monster and vodka like I used to do, now that screws things up. Now we're really ramping up the addiction potential, the withdrawal potential, harmfulness. That's like speedball, really ramping that up. Becomes a different beast. So it depends on what we're talking about here. There's my life experience. That's all I've ever done. Nothing ever else was in there. No other things. Never even been tempted to try anything else. Never even cared to explore anything else. I'm looking forward to look at the comments and see what ratings you guys came up with for each of these categories. I will see you guys in the comments.